Broadcasting alive from the Green Room Studios in Nashville, Tennessee, it's the At Home Show with Josh Carey and David Bates, celebrating 25 years of home and garden wisdom. Without further ado, your hosts, Josh Carey and David Bates.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. It's going to be a big party time in the at-home program this morning. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, flames, fire, everything's going to be going on because it's time to party because we're 25 years old, David Bates. How about that
Don't
stuff?
look a day over 20.
I know it. Hey, we're here for you. We're coming to you alive from the Green Room Studios here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. We've been coming to the airwaves and view waves for parts of 2 centuries, 2 millennia, 4 decades, and now a quarter of a century. Welcome in, everybody. Hey, we're here for you. Tyler has got a big special thing that he wants to get out in front of everybody because there are prizes coming. Prizes today.
We're running a contest. We're giving away $25 Bates gift cards to the person who can correctly comment a number between 1 and 10. So pick one number. You only get one comment, so comment once. Pick a number between 1 and 10. And myself and Caroline and Austin, we will draw numbers from our at-home show mugs to find a winner.
In the case of a tie, the first one gets the prize.
And if someone tries to work the system and put more than one number in, are they disqualified?
It could be.
Yes, one comment, one original comment per viewer.
Yep.
So that's just simply put a number between 1 and 10.
Do they have to spell it or can they type it out as numbers?
You could write the word.
That's fine, but just don't put any accent marks on it.
Okay.
No umlauts. Like, just deliver us one number.
Umlauts?
Don't put a tilde out there. Just a number.
And we'll take your admissions through or submissions through 8:30. So halfway through the show, we'll close submissions.
Yep.
And then we will draw.
There are 3 places that you can put them in there on the Facebook because there's the
4 actually.
4 on Facebook because we've got the Bates Nursery page that broadcasts it.
EarthMix Garden Products.
The At-Home Show.
The At-Home Show and YouTube.
YouTube.
All right.
Yep.
David, it's going to be a beautiful day on our anniversary.
Today's going to be a beautiful day, but it's not going to last. Remember, it's the end of January.
Yeah.
It's not... Whether if you're not happy with it, just wait a few minutes. It'll change. Today is going to be mostly sunny, 60 degrees for the high today. The clouds will be increasing as we go through the day, and there will be rain showers that come in during the overnight hours. We are now, I'll look at rain totals here for the month shortly, but you can see here on what's projected to possibly occur between now and the end of the month. We could easily pick up another inch of rainfall. So just keep that in mind as we go through the forecast. On Sunday, rain in the morning and 51 for the high. Monday, 47, 30. Tuesday, it says ice to rain. Hopefully it's not much ice and it's
not much rain.
Well, not much rain. So anyway, we're going to deal with that when Tuesday arrives. Wednesday, 43, 36. There's nothing extreme weather-wise out there. Hopefully the ice amounts to little. As we roll into February, we does start off wet. Looks like we could get an inch of rain to start the month pretty easily, which is, of course, just peachy keen. On Friday, we're looking at a few morning showers, and they will wind up. And it looks like we could have a nice weekend shaping up for the weekend ahead. I want to switch over now to our weather station here at Bates Nursery, and already for the month and year, of course, those are the same thing at this point in time. We crossed over the 5-inch mark, 5.02 inches of rain. Thus far, when we could pretty easily add another inch of that, depending on what the weather does, obviously. So we could be looking at about 150% of our normal rainfall in January before the month comes to an end on Tuesday. So a wet start to the year. So drought is absolutely of no concern at this point in time. And quick check of the radar, and I don't think we've really got anything to show much of anywhere except there's some blue stuff right there.
Blue.
So that's
blue,
up
blue,
in
blue,
Minnesota.
blue.
We're not going up there. In our area, we're all nice and clear here. So, and of course, there's football going on this weekend.
Football.
Again, it is 32 degrees here, live from the green room.
Okay, I already got a bunch of questions, and
I understand we've got like 22 questions in the queue. I can tell you right now, we almost certainly will not get to them all because
we're gonna have a party.
We've got some. Tyler has worked on, and Caroline have worked on some special things for us today. Yes. But before we go further, we will introduce those other members. And by the way, good morning to you, Josh.
Yes,
and
hi, David.
Happy anniversary.
Yes.
Tyler, good morning to you.
Hi.
And we want to look across the way and say good morning to Caroline Gant, Austin Lowen. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And happy 25th. Let's just talk about the confetti and the balloons.
Oh, yeah.
That just got nothing. Josh, Caroline spent half the day yesterday cutting up confetti and just blew it on y'all in 1 second.
It was amazing.
It's like Thanksgiving dinner. It ought to take as long for it to happen as it does to eat it, right?
That's right.
But the contest is going on too. We see a lot of comments, a lot of number guesses out there. And Jude, you need to make a guess, and DP, you need to make a guess too, because I know you're out there watching, folks. So we don't often give away prizes. I mean, I think we used to have contests where, what was it? We sent you their greatest thank yous for participating in contests. Was that how we used to do it, David?
Well,
I don't know.
something like that.
Big deal. But thank you guys for the special preparations.
You're welcome.
The Mylar and there's a little static electricity in there.
There's feathers. There's fake flowers. There's a lot in there.
Yep. Little gauzy stuff in
Little
here.
gauzy stuff. Yep. In case you need it.
Okay.
All right.
We got the leaf blower out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Tyler rigged up that.
It was a thing.
You don't see what I've rigged up, but it's pretty insane.
It's awesome.
It's a stack of boxes.
And thank you, Tyler, for our special
intro.
25th anniversary graphics up there on the big board. We do appreciate that. It's looking good this morning.
Yep.
And it's Josh. This is rather unexpected for us both, is it not? I don't know what I was expecting 25 years ago when we showed up to what was then known as the Little House on the Prairie.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't exist anymore. That building is gone, along with a whole bunch of others around Music City. Mm-hmm. Things have changed a lot in 25 years. Well, one thing has stayed the same. We've remained on the air. Now we had a little break in there where we got we lost our deal. We said our goodbyes at 18 years. Yes. We thought, well, we're done.
We're done. Nice run.
And we even had a party at mine and Renee's house, and everybody came over. It was really nice. And then WSM called us and said, hey, would you consider going back on there? So we said, and we did.
Yep.
And we did that for about 3 years, and then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And then all of this happened.
Yep. We negotiated the parking passes in the WSM deal. That was a good move. Well,
and of course here the parking passes are a lot easier to come by. We don't have to do nearly as much negotiation on that.
I've still got mine. So, have you still got your parking pass?
I do, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay. You still got your key to the studio?
I do, as a matter of fact.
You're giving away your secrets right now, y'all.
No. Well, they never asked for them back. No. They probably changed the locks already. I've never tried. I couldn't point it out on my key ring or which key ring it's even on, but it's somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. I've still got my, and I'm sure you do, my card key for cumulus.
Yeah,
So
they deactivate.
I'm sure it doesn't
those,
work
though.
anymore.
Yeah, they deactivate those. But all you got to do is walk up to the fence and you can get around it. So I mean, I know that one. We actually had to hop the fence one time at WTN. You remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen a lot of little things occur along the way, and
You know, one of the best things that came out of the COVID switch?
What's that, Josh?
Tyler, Austin, and Carrie.
Hey.
Oh, yeah, I'm agreeing. I'm in total agreement with that. You know, and it's really good.
Because
to
Michael
have
Stevens
welcomed
came in for a while too, so the Moose was there too at the beginning. So don't forget.
Well, it is really good to welcome in other contributing members, and everybody here does contribute a lot. I'm going to actually be gone for a couple of weeks, so it makes me feel good to know that everything will just carry right along without me being here. My good friend Steve Searles is celebrating 75 years.
Whew.
And so having a big
He was only
birthday
50 when we started.
Well,
I guess that's the way that works.
That would be math.
Yeah, that is hard.
yeah. So anyway, I'm going to be away for a couple of weeks, but Adam Chapman is going to capably fill in, and we're Adam always has a unique perspective. I think that's an accurate thing to say. You know, so it's always good to get a slightly different view and approach on things, including horticulture. You know, Austin and I don't always agree 100%, and I think that will be the case when Mr. Chapman comes on board for the next couple of weeks, Austin. But there's a lot of different ways to look at how you approach things, and so there's not necessarily to doing any kind of gardening project one singular correct way to do it or one way that is absolutely wrong. There's probably a bunch of right and wrong ways to do almost anything.
Cat's got lots of skin. Hey, by the way, quickly before we get to the questions, we are guessing a number between 1 and 10.
And that would be starting with 1 and going through up to 10.
That doesn't include 0?
Does not include 0.
Does not include 0. Okay. So if there's some gift cards for Bates Nursery and Garden Center. So if you live in Minnesota, you can win one.
We're drawing 3 winners.
Yes.
3 winners. Count them.
Yep. So
1, 2, and 3.
3.
Okay.
Those, Trace.
All right.
It'll probably mean more to you if you live here in the Middle Tennessee area.
It'd be a little easier to redeem anyway. I mean,
So
That's true.
They're winning a $25 gift card, right?
Oh.
For anything here at Bates.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which
It's Bates money.
Bates money.
Mm-hmm.
We got some money on this table in front of us right here.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
we do.
It's beautiful.
We
Real
get
quick,
some trucks in.
Yeah, we did. And we designed the room this week. Just so you know, David and Josh, we designed the room. Let's start with the y'all side is plants. Y'all were selling 25 years ago.
Wow.
All right. We got holly.
Okay.
We got nandina. We got monkey grass. Got euonymus. You got to. And
Things even old guys like us would recognize.
that's
Josh. I
right.
think
And
that's
still
the
sell
point.
today. Still
Yep.
some very good sellers. So that's your
Look
side
at
of
the
the
berries
room.
on those.
Wow.
Look at that berries.
Mm-hmm.
And then we switched over to our side of the room, which is the new side.
The
The
new.
fresh stuff. And it's literally is the fresh stuff. It's a brand new truck that came in this week, and all this stuff is up for the spring. Dianthus, heuchera. Look at this lavender in bloom.
Wow.
Why is lavender blooming right now? But either way,
Said why?
we've
Why?
got fancy fresh stuff. Look at this Dianthus in bloom.
It's so cute.
Oh, so cute. So that's the theme, just so everyone knows.
Just so we're aware. All right, are we ready to get to some questions?
Let's
We probably
go.
should.
We've got a lot.
We got like
All
58.
right. Best rose bushes for zone 7, some that can take heat.
Well, all roses
I know
can
you
take
love
the heat
roses.
pretty well. I do love roses. They annoy me, and they annoy most everybody in Middle Tennessee if you've ever grown them. But there's a number of most roses are very, very similar in what they want. One of the easiest roses is the knockout rose. I know it's the most generic. It's the one that most people think of, but it is a really, really hardy rose. It gets very large. It blooms profusely. Really good rose to grow. There's a ton of shrub roses out there now that stay a little bit smaller, a little bit like 3x3 type growing rose that really, really bloom a lot. And they can handle the heat just fine. it's not necessarily the heat so much, y'all, with the roses. I mean, yeah, roses do kind of shut down when it gets like super hot, like 90 and above. They don't really, bloom all that much. You just kind of want to keep them going, but they're still fine in that heat. So really, I could talk to you about roses all day long. But
the drifts are great too.
Drift roses, that's one of the shrub roses I was talking about. Yeah, and it's a one that stays a little smaller, a little shrubbier, a little easier to control. But it blooms very tight, so you get a real good show across the whole plant. So
another great group of roses are the David Austin selection of roses. And when we're always working to try to get more and more of those because they are, they're very desirable. They're very tough, and they seem to have a greater resistance to disease, and that's probably the biggest adversary that roses have to deal with that you really can't do a whole heck of a lot about. You can do some spraying with fungicides and that kind of thing, but it's not so much the heat. Like you were saying, the humidity is much more of the problem because that's what really stimulates the growth of these pathogens on the foliage, the black spot. It's really bad on certain cultivars of roses. The shrub roses tend to grow so aggressively that they can kind of grow faster than the pathogen almost. And you can get by with minimal spraying, or you may just trim it off and let it flush back out again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's got both of our names in it, so get you a David Austin rose.
So there it is.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. That's why it's our mutual favorite.
All right, we got a grass question.
Okay.
My mondo grass has turned yellow from the polar blast. Any chance that it will survive?
Yes. I don't see any reason why mondo wouldn't come back. A lot of times it's nice to just go ahead and give it a clean cut back anyway. I mean, sometimes mondo does stay evergreen, and it usually stays okay through the wintertime, but not just beautiful. There's a lot of things that are like that. We call them evergreen, and they are, but they're not like beautiful over the winter. So, this little polar freeze may have given them a little setback, go ahead and get rid of that old foliage and let some new stuff come from the roots. And it might look even bigger and better, that come this spring.
Mm-hmm. If you have a bagging push mower, it's a great opportunity to just set that thing where it's, kind of at a higher setting and just mow over the top of them. It'll suck all the clippings up. Makes it really easy. I've got a liriope out in my shrub bed, and I have used that for years to trim them before new growth emerges every spring. It really does a nice, consistent, even job, and then everything is cleaned up. There's no mess. And it's fast.
Mm-hmm. That's the way to do it.
There's a great video of you doing that on the internet somewhere.
It's called Mowing My Monkey Grass.
So all y'all look that up.
It is our third most watched YouTube video.
Nice.
It's really good.
Can you plant melon seeds directly in ground, or do you have to start them? So I usually plant my melon seeds in the ground and just let them go from there. I find that the plant itself is stronger, and I have it produces earlier for me. But Austin,
no, I think that's a great point. If you can, any seeds you can start in the ground, like Caroline just said, if they get started in there and they latch in and start their own root system where they're going to finish, they seem to do better. And melons are very easy the whole cucurbit family is very easy to start from seed directly into the ground. You just have to make sure that the ground is warm enough. That's the key, is that melons really like it warm, and they like it moist as well. So we need to make sure we keep it moist when they're young, and sow them when the ground temperature has started to warm up a little bit. So this is going to occur whenever night temperatures start to warm up. So we're not even to February yet. We're not there. It's still a long time coming. And don't get me wrong, you can certainly start melon seeds, start them early if you want to do that too. Okay. But it can be done in the garden, and that's sometimes a little bit easier to just start them there and finish them there.
Mm-hmm. Austin, the question asker, also said, ditto on tomatoes in the ground versus starts.
Different story. Probably going to start those elsewhere, and you can transplant a tomato pretty easily into the garden once it's up. But you can get those started and going. If you want to do them from seed, if you can get an environment that has a lot of sunlight and a good amount of warmth, you can get those tomatoes already up and, say 6-8 inches tall before you ever set them out into the garden. You can do that early, but you're going to need light to do it. Don't get me wrong. You can definitely drop tomato seeds in the ground, and if the weather is conducive, they'll come up and be just fine. I know a lot of times y'all have seen, I'm sure you've seen cherry tomatoes just pop up randomly in the yard.
Last year.
Last year, yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, so it can be done, but you kind of get those tomatoes exactly. The thing about tomatoes is we kind of want them in a some sort of system to where we can trellis them up. So you kind of want to have your plants ready and set them where you want them. Whenever you drop down seed, you get a little bit of sporadic, growth, or you see plants that come up maybe not where you want them to. So that's kind of why we do that. Peppers are the same way. They take a little bit longer to germinate. So it's a little bit better to get those started elsewhere and then put them into the garden where you want them to be so you can trellis them properly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the great thing about if you do start them in a pot and they get spindly on you, or they won't still, you can plant a tomato really deep. I mean, all the way down to the top leaves on it, and they'll do just fine. They'll shoot out roots all up and down the stem. Yeah. So
I think it's a better practice
to do that. Matter of fact, it's very beneficial.
Yeah. Pull off at least a few of those leaves on the bottom when you put your mater plants in.
Yeah, you pull off those lateral leaves, you create that little wound right there, and then from those wounds you see roots coming, and it'll root adventitiously all the way up and down that stem, like David just said. So if it does get leggy on you, you can bury that into the dirt and watch, something new grow, which it will.
Edward wants to know where the Bradford pear trees are on the 25-year-ago side.
Oh, not here.
Yeah, Edward. Okay. Edward wants to win the contest too. Let's see how this one works out. Okay. All righty. But no, the contest is going on. It's going to close in a mere minutes, about 9 minutes. So if you want to get
let me take just a moment while we got a little break in action, talk about EarthMix garden products. If you're wanting to have the best success in your gardening efforts, you'll see we are big believers in EarthMix garden products. All around the studio, we've got banners up to that effect. And EarthMix is a locally produced, 100% organic mix of soils and amendments that you can get the absolute best results of your gardening efforts. It doesn't matter what you're trying to grow. EarthMix garden products, there is a blend that fits and suits your needs. Whether you're planting a vegetable garden, you might want to consider using EarthMix Garden for that person, for that selection. If you're thinking about planting things in your landscape, you might consider using EarthMix Landscape. There's another thought there. Of course, there's a lot of plants have gotten damaged, and we haven't talked about that today, probably purposefully, but those things are going to be wanting some nutrition. And if you use something, great mulch covering of EarthMix Supernatural gives them a lot of nutrition, and the things that Mother Nature naturally provides, endo and ecto, mycorrhiza, fungi, humic acid, all the great things, plus a tremendous amount of organic material that's going to help them to recover their very best. So when you're thinking about your gardening, make sure you first consider what you're going to plant your things in. EarthMix garden products are the best choice. And if you go out to the web, go to earthmix.net and click on the Find EarthMix tab once you're there, and you'll see that this view here this is locations all over the Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee. Or you can just simply put in an address in the box here and select the range, and it'll give you turn-by-turn directions for the location nearest you. Remember this, success in gardening begins at the ground level when you use EarthMix garden products. And we appreciate you giving us a couple of minutes to talk about that and help you with your gardening efforts, because it is just about that time to be here before you know it. Everybody's chomping at the bit.
Chomp.
Yes.
It's not even February.
So let's get back to the question.
It's not even February. You're right. All right, we got our first hydrangea question of the morning.
All right.
When and how to trim panicle hydrangea blooms that are brown? They made it through the freeze.
Yeah, they sure did, because they were already brown before the freeze. I mean, it didn't really mess them up too bad, but it is time to trim them, and you can literally lightly trim them and get the old blooms off if you want. I don't really recommend this. Go down further past those blooms, y'all. Panicles are very, very aggressive. They get very large very quick, and they can get a little bit leggy if you kind of keep the leg in them. You keep the stems up too tall, that they get too big a little bit. So take them down, go past that bloom, a good amount. Cut them in half if you want, cut them a third if you want, but at least go down to some nice, chunky stems. Get rid of anything dead or dying, anything crossing, and get rid of anything that's like smaller than a pencil-sized stem. Like, we don't really want those. Those blooms will end up flopping on you. So get rid of those, clean it up, get it nice and open and airy, and you'll see a nice panicle next year.
All right. Is there a good time to plant lavender in the winter?
We were just talking about lavender yesterday,
We
Caroline,
were, and we got some out here on this
we
table.
got some really beautiful lavender, and we were talking about how we kind of wish lavender did a little bit better here in Middle Tennessee, and some people have great luck with it. If you can really amend your soil with, some of our products that we have, say our landscape mix that we have has got some good pine fines in it and not any topsoil in it, it's nice and loose. We even have our expanded shale product. Is that one?
Enlighten.
Enlighten. And that will loosen up your soil as well. They just really want well-drained soil and not wet feet. That's the problem. So planting them in the winter here is not necessarily all that great. We talked earlier about how wet it's already been this year. Wetness in the winter is usually the killer of lavender, or at least the set it back problem. I know I've grown lavender, and it did not make it through the winter when it came to being up and pretty. It's not really always evergreen here. It got horribly ugly over the wintertime. It got leggy. I could see its stems. I didn't really like it. In the early spring, I cut it clear to the dirt and watched new growth happen from the roots. And that generally does happen. But do not expect lavender to look just gorgeous all the way through the wintertime. It usually does not happen here. If you're lucky and you're one of those that amended well and you got it going good, then good for you. But usually here, it's not just great.
Yeah, I've never had one look good in the winter.
If I were going to give you a suggestion, it would be planted in the spring whenever it's up, and you can get that full season of root development, and then hopefully you'll have better luck through the winter of it staying up and green. But just don't expect it great through the winter.
My lavender has been...
They do like soil that drains particularly well. They are not tolerant of wet feet, and as you mentioned, the 5 inches of rain we've already had this year, this month and this year, is already 25% above what we would normally get for the month of January, and we've got perhaps another inch coming this week. So just be mindful of that.
And February is usually wetter than January.
My lavender is growing in EarthMix landscape in a repurposed, raised former darkroom sink that has 3 little divisions, and it's growing in the middle. So it's cool. It's doing great. It drains out really well, and I haven't really had to think about it very much.
Is it out? I mean, it's outside doing just... I mean, it's totally out.
Outside, yeah.
It looks great right now.
We'll see if it... We'll see if it reflushes from the freeze.
That's what I'm wondering. What does it look like right now?
Well, it looks like how lavender looks like in the winter. It just looks really scraggly and rough. I'm not going to do anything to it. Now, I know my rosemary's dead. That other lavender that I got, is it Cattleman's? Cane Creek? Something like lavender?
That.
That one's probably gone too. But the English has held on for a couple of years.
Good to know.
Yeah. All right. Pollinator-friendly spring blooming native shrubs or perennials?
Whew. That's a loaded question.
It is very loaded.
There's a lot of pollinator.
And before we answer that, if you ever want to come out to the nursery, Joy, our perennial expert, loves to talk about natives, and she knows so much. She's like an entire book that's thousands upon thousands of pages long.
Especially
by the way, it's 8:28. I would just throw that out there for the contest.
2-minute warning for contest
numbers in
1 through 10.
Numbers.
$25 towards this pollinator.
Hey, by the way, nobody else guessed 7. Nobody else guessed 7. Okay, just a hint.
Josh.
I think
you're not eligible, Josh.
No, I'm not. But I'm just telling you. Nobody else needs to guess 7.
All right, let's get to this question.
Okay, yeah. So there's a lot. There's really a lot. It's kind of hard to narrow this one down when it comes to shrubs and perennials. There's tons of them that are, a good amount that are native and pollinator friendly. So I think you're going to have to come out on this one and get with one of us. Like Caroline said, especially Joy Bovin, who's our perennial gal. She really is good at that. So come out and just ask directly for her. Father Gila, there you go.
I planted
just to name one.
Amsonia.
I love Amsonia. That's a good plant.
Very beautiful. Blue Star.
That's a good plant. There's a lot. There's really a lot.
All right. What do you recommend for fertilizing Japanese maples, and when is the best time? I feel like this is a fantastic question.
This is a fantastic question because I've done some research on this, and I've looked it up a lot. And from what I've heard from people that grow Japanese maples, like actual growers of them, even the ones like out in Japan that are like harvesting them and growing them out, they really recommend to not fertilize very much when it comes to maples. They say that it messes with their fall color. Okay, so excess nitrogen will keep those leaves greener longer, and you don't get the fall show that you would get. So if your plant looks healthy in the spring, it looks clean and green, and it's not off color or yellow or anything, then don't do anything to it. I mean, honestly, you really just don't. Now, if it's a very young maple and you don't really care about the fall color yet because you're just trying to grow it and get it bigger, then you could probably fertilize with a nice all-purpose tree fertilizer or something in the spring to kind of get it moving. But Japanese maples typically are a little bit slow anyway, so you kind of have to wait on them. And like I said, you'll mess with the fall color if you start fertilizing older Japanese maples, and it's not necessarily the practice recommended.
Well, and that's another good benefit of organics in that they give you enough fertility to add to the soil, but they don't last for long periods of time. About a month is all any of them last. So no matter what you're using in organic, you're not going to blast a whole lot of nitrogen out there. It just doesn't have that level of it, and it doesn't last for that long.
I'm top Justin Mr. Woo with Supernatural. And that's it.
I don't think you'll go wrong.
No, you can't go wrong.
By the way, the contest is now closed.
Oh,
so, okay. So we have a bunch of looking at the timing on the 7. Oh my goodness, nobody. Okay. Anyway,
Horton asked a question on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in again, Horton.
Mm-hmm.
How should unused seeds be stored, in the fridge or in the freezer?
wow.
Fridge.
I got mine in the fridge.
Mm-hmm. I've always stored them in the fridge. It's always been fine.
I have a
in the
whole
shed.
drawer
Yeah.
for my seeds in the fridge.
But it won't hurt if you put them in the freezer.
It won't. No, you're talking about a couple degrees difference.
That's how they keep them over in Norway, isn't it, dude? The seed
That
bank.
big seed bank, yeah.
The big
Svalbard.
seed banks.
Yeah.
Yes,
I think it's right around 30 or something.
They even store them in liquid nitrogen where they take them, way down.
Really?
I'm not suggesting you need to do that, but in a freezer,
Everybody,
yes.
where do you get liquid nitrogen these days?
Well,
You used to be able to get
got to
it.
do is just 80% of our atmosphere is nitrogen, Josh. You just liquefy it. That's
Yes.
all you got to do.
It's easy.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Seeds are unbelievable, though. I mean, seriously, like they're coating, and if they don't let any moisture in, seeds are really an incredible thing. So, yeah, don't think about it too much. If you put them in the freezer, you're not going to hurt anything.
Okay.
I got to plant so many seeds. All right, best low maintenance evergreen shrubs for front of house in full sun.
Well, there's a lot
Boy,
for that.
there's a lot.
So
Man,
many.
there's a lot.
What are your favorites, though? If it was your house, well, I know what you would put in front of
You
your
already
house.
know, yeah. What I put
but
in
maybe
mine.
everyone doesn't.
So they say low maintenance. That's the key. That's the word. We hear that those two words are buzzwords out here all the time. I just want something low maintenance, something easy. I mean, it happens all the time. Where do I go? Boxwood. Boxwood's about as low maintenance as it gets. If I could give you an alternative, I guess I like yews in the landscape. Yews like YEWS yews. They're fairly low maintenance. They still need a trim or two, once a year at least, to kind of keep them in check. But they're very, very easy. Yews live without a problem as long as they're not in a wet area. They don't take that. But if you've got just a normal soil that you notice drains fine, then use yews. They're really, really deep green. They're needle-like.
Use.
Yeah.
Use.
The blue star junipers that we had in the studio last weekend, that's another great choice. They're slow growers.
Slow growers.
And they just make a nice mounding effect. So
They
if
do.
you've got a really low area, they don't require much maintenance at all. You might trim them annually. You might.
Yeah.
Probably
Usually
could
not.
skip 2 or 3 years between trimmings. They really don't do a whole lot
Yeah.
growth wise.
There you go. They'll all handle the full sun just fine.
Just fine.
Okay.
Okay, I cannot keep my prayer plant alive. What do I need to do to help it thrive? So prayer
Cuss it.
plant, we're talking about a maranta. They're a really cool plant. The leaves open up with the daylight and then close at night as the sun starts to go down. So these plants do not like direct sunlight. In their natural habitat, they grow in like the understory of a tree. So they never get hit with direct sun, maybe dappled sun throughout the day. So I always suggest putting it in a window that gets like very, very soft. Ooh, hello.
Notification education.
Very soft morning light if it's getting any direct sunlight. And now these plants don't like to sit dry for a really long time. If they do dry out, you'll start seeing the leaves curl in. That's a sign that they need to be watered. But they also do not like sitting wet. So you don't want to keep them with wet feet, but the soil needs to stay like kind of consistently moist. Let the top inch of soil dry out. Now, wintertime, I would say, is the hardest to keep them alive because they like a lot of humidity. So this time of year, I have a lot of customers here at the nursery coming in with problems with their Maranta because they're just drying out. So with those, you can mist them. I don't usually suggest misting a lot of plants, but that is one that can benefit from it. Or being near a humidifier if you have one. So just keep it out of direct sun, bright indirect light throughout the day, and then lots and lots of humidity, and it should be fine. And also trim off any dead brown leaves. It's going to make the plant healthy. I had a prayer plant that Austin and I actually made a bet, and then he came back on it. But we had a prayer plant here in the nursery that got kind of lost on a shelf. Some customer had put it somewhere, and it just completely dried up. I chopped that plant all the way back. It took a month and a half sitting in a happy little spot for it, but it eventually flushed back out. So
That's a Bon Jovi plant.
I tell you, I got to say, prayer plant is not the plant for me.
I love them.
I am too lazy for the old prayer plant. They're a little
Takes
picky.
way too much praying.
Too
much praying.
They're a little picky. So if you're good about growing plants, grow you one because they can test you a little bit.
All right. How aggressive can you trim and shape boxwoods, and when during the year?
I think you should keep you should stay calm when you're trimming anything. You don't need to be aggressive with any of your plants.
I don't
in your
know.
yard.
I've seen Austin aggressively trim some trees before.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Gonna cut you.
It is wild.
Well, I contend it's a great way to work off stress.
Yeah.
If you're feeling a little angst, get out there and cut that hedge back halfway.
Oh, no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I guess with this question, don't be so scared to prune back to where you just see like sticks, even though sticks are not attractive over the wintertime, especially on an evergreen shrub. But sometimes to get them back in check, if they've gotten a little bit too big, you kind of have to take them bare. And like I said, when you're done, you'll look at it and be like, my God, this is awful.
Awful.
It's just looks horrible or half dead. Typically, it's not. And boxwood's a little bit slower to respond. I will say that when you take it back to stick, say you get like an aggressive holly or something on the corner of your home, you take it back and defoliate everything, take every single leaf off and just get it down to stems, that thing responds quickly in the spring. It really shoots, and it shoots very fast. Boxwood's a little bit slower to do that. So be patient if you have to do a very aggressive trim on it because it will flush back out, but it takes it a little bit longer to do it.
Yeah, and if you're going to do that, this is the trimming before the first flush of growth is when you really want to do that one, because that's where you're going to get probably 60% of your growth for the entire year is in that first flush. So if you wait and let it flush out first, you're missing that. So get out there ahead of that new growth and shear it hard. And even if it does look very sparse, it will have a chance to recover. And there's a lot of applications for that in the landscape, obviously, with the amount of desiccation that occurred to the foliage of plants, and we're going to be dealing with that for at least the next couple of months.
Yes,
absolutely. Hey, Paul wants to know. He says he has a huge bay tree and would like to trim it. Some suggestions?
Those are fun to cut on.
They are.
My mom has one that's about 25 years old, and she hasn't cut on it in its time.
Mm-hmm. I cut on one for fun. We had another, like you said. We had so many plants here that every once in a while you get some stragglers out there. You get some that just get neglected, get forgotten, don't get a water for a week, whatever it may be. And we had one. What was it last year? It was something happened to it, and I decided to just.
It was out on the lot, got too much sun and too dry. Yeah,
and I cut it severely. And it came back mainly more so from the roots than it did back from the stems. It actually grew from both points of the plant, from the woody part and also from the roots. So
I have found, like you said, if you give it too much of a severe cut, because I like to experiment with pruning stuff, and I cut one just in half. I didn't prune the limbs coming off. I just cut the tree, and all that did was force growth from the bottom of the plant, and the mother plant basically just died.
It does seem to be that's the response when you prune them severely. A lot of it will come from the roots, but they're an aggressive plant. Bay is such an aggressive plant. They get big quick, like in a season.
They're wild.
So you can shape it just about any way you want to, and wherever you cut it, it's going to grow back. It's what it sounds like.
Pretty much that, or like we just said, it'll really bush from the roots, and then you'll have a whole new kind of plant coming up, that you can shape later on. So, but either way, it doesn't die.
Okay.
I mean, bay is
it doesn't.
stout.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
Let's take a break for just a second here and talk about where we are today.
Where are we today?
We're today, like every other Saturday, we're at Bates Nursery and Garden Center.
Cool.
And we invite you to come out and see us today. We're open from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. on Saturdays during the winter time. And the great news is that because it's going to be a nice day today, but even if it were not, we have everything inside. You can come in and shop out of the weather. And as has already been stated, we've gotten a lot of new things in this week. We're really rolling in and getting ready for a big spring season ahead. And while you might not be ready to make purchases yet, it certainly is a great time to come out and do planning. So we invite you to take photographs of the areas you're working with. You probably got a couple of plants in there that you're going, I don't know if these are going to make it or not.
Right.
We're going to tell you everything's going to be okay and try to help you get through this season. It's very tough right now waiting on things to come back out, but you will be rewarded, I think, if you're patient. So try to do that. There's plenty of other things to be working on in the meantime. And one of the things that you should be thinking about is getting soil prepared. And it doesn't matter whether you're talking about a couple of bags or a truckload of bulk material. All of the EarthMix garden product line is available here at Bates Nursery and Garden Center, either in bag or in bulk. So if you're looking for say you're setting up a square foot garden and you need several yards, we can haul that out and dump it in one spot, and you can save a substantial amount of money and get the same quality product as we sell right here in the bag. So come on out and see us. We are conveniently located 1 mile north of Briley Parkway at exit 19 on Whites Creek Pike, which is just minutes from Rivergate, Opry Mills, Nashville West, downtown Nashville. And this, I promise you, it's worth the drive no matter where you're coming from. Check out our website, batesnursery.com, and you can search and shop our entire inventory online. So if you can't make it out, you can actually buy all of the things we sell right online and set up the shipping, the delivery of it from the comfort of your home. So check that out over at batesnursery.com. And we're open Monday through Friday from 9 until 4. And again, 10 until 2 on Saturday, which is today. And we're closed on Sundays until March. So check it out at batesnursery.com. Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Now, we're bearing down on our second century. We're 91 years into this deal. So that's pretty hard for me to believe, but here we are. And just like the 25 years that Josh, you and I are experiencing today, time marches on. And, so we've just continued to show up, and that's the way we do it at Bates Nursery. So we keep working at it, and we appreciate the support we get from all the wonderful folks in the Middle Tennessee area. So thanks for giving us a moment to talk about that, and we'll get back to the questions now.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I just, I feel like this is a special occasion, and while we can't actually play the full song or even any part of it probably without it getting detected, I'd like to spoken word read to you a section of
I may interject in this when you go.
All right.
Okay.
The hit song "You're Still the One" by Shania Twain, which was on the charts in 1998 when you started broadcasting. Here we go. Ain't nothing better. We beat the odds together. I'm glad we didn't listen. Look at what we would be missing. They said, I bet they'll never make it. But just look at us holding on. We're still together, still going strong. Oh, you're still the one I run to, the one that I belong to. You're still the one I want for life.
Oh,
Tyler. That was, wow.
Wow.
That is in complete harmony with the touchy-feely nature of our program all these many years.
Yeah, where's Ted Nugent when we need him? I don't know. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, appreciate the sentiment there. And without any doubt, I know Josh and I, neither one would have believed that we would still be broadcasting all these many years. And we had a secret weapon in that we were on Saturday mornings, of course,
yes.
At the radio stations we were at, and they have so many different program directors that rotate too. By the time they would get to working on the schedule on weekends, they would wind up losing their job, and then a new one would come in, and then we would get to reset the clock for another 2 years. And that happened many, many, many times. So somehow we hung in there, Josh.
Oh, we did. They still had video stores when we started this thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Blockbuster was
stores.
definitely around.
That was still a thing.
You know who else was still around?
Who?
Me and Caroline and Austin as
What?
little babies.
We talked
We're
about
older
this.
than 25 years. My God.
Yeah.
What did we look like 25 years ago? Do we?
Do we have the picture?
do we have anything?
We do. I'm gonna keep it on you, Austin, because I have to do some little
So Austin,
movie
start
magic.
talking.
Keep it on me.
That's
this
not
was
Austin.
The
No,
year
that's not.
1998 was 25 years ago. Oh, that ain't me.
That's not
Oh,
Austin.
sorry. Hold on.
Look,
Okay.
no, it's Caroline.
It's baby
That's
Caroline.
Caroline.
Look at all that hair.
Ooh.
Oh. Some guy put a bowl on my head and cut that out. God dang, look at that bowl cut. It's perfect.
Amazing.
It's perfect. There's not a hair out of
Look how
Look, I've
trendy
got-
you are. You're in a Tommy
tryout
shirt.
for Mo.
Yeah, I got plants behind me already. Look, it was meant to be.
And check it out.
And who's next?
Oops.
And Tyler.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
I'm trying to navigate by trackpad here.
You're
thanks to
doing
this.
great. Look at
Trackpad.
Austin in and out.
There it
Yes.
Oh,
God,
feel
look
like-
how formal you look. Look at the hand over the hand.
You have a bowl cut too, right?
Yes,
Look,
I do
Caroline,
have a bowl.
that was the
Bowl cuts were
bangs,
in.
babe.
That's my first pair of glasses because I couldn't see the dry chalkboard, and I kept squinting. And the teacher was like, "This kid needs some glasses."
And a bowl cut.
Obviously,
bowl
I make
cut.
great aesthetic decisions with my
Tyler,
fashion.
you should have gotten a bowl cut when you got your haircut recently. I don't know why you didn't go back to that
We
and
could
rock
bring it
it.
back.
It might be a
be more
chipped-
like a colander now.
Yeah, that's. it would be like a
Burn.
gravy boat, I guess.
Yeah.
With a flute. Anyway, and then
So many bowl cuts.
let's get Caroline in here because
Yep.
I had her first.
Get her
but
back.
I will. Once again,
Yeah, bring her
trackpad.
back. It
That
looks like
is
a
a cute
Valentine's
picture.
Day. Oh, there's Austin.
There she is, just sitting on Sandy's
Just
lap.
sitting. I think I'm standing beside Santa.
You have a lot of hair.
I've always had a lot of hair. Got
Santa's
my
got some
overalls
nice
on.
fades on.
I think I might be wearing a turtleneck.
Ugh.
Oh, amazing.
Oh, the overalls are slipping over the shoulder.
Listen, it was
Yeah.
the 90s. Look at that
That's
grunge
right.
look. Look at that flannel
gotta
around my arms.
Crunch look. You're 9.
I was working it.
There
Well,
you go.
there we are.
25 years ago. Y'all had just
Yep.
started. Isn't that crazy?
And we were
That
in
is.
first grade, second grade, third grade, something
Third
like that.
grade, I think.
All
Well,
right.
you were in like the 5th because you're a lot older than me.
I was
Tyler, but-
actually 24, but I was not in the 5th grade, Austin.
Okay.
All right, questions. So we had quite a few Lenten Rose questions.
Yes.
Tyler actually just posted a video on our stories of the Lenten Rose in David's yard coming up through all those dead leaves. But people are wondering, should I dig them up? Will they come back? Are they okay? Mine are doing great. Mine are coming back, and I'm way further north than people are in Nashville. And like I said, Tyler posted that picture. So I feel like it's just a matter of waiting. They're going to push back up.
Yep.
All
Good
right.
answer.
Thank
That's all
you.
you need to know.
That's
They're
it.
coming back.
Those is completely fine. Just go in there and selectively prune off those dead, burnt stems on there on the outer because there's new pushing out on them.
Yeah.
Already. Hey,
Already, yeah.
Hi, David. Bye.
Yeah, we've got to get a question
Pushing
from
out.
this gentleman in. Greg Villaflor, we talked about this last
Greg.
week. He called the very first at-home program.
Absolutely.
The first Saturday in February of 1998, he called it. And he's got a Zoysia lawn, and he wants to know what height does the Palisades Zoysia do best? They all like it short, don't they, David?
They are short you can pretty much cut it as low as the mower will go without scalping. You don't want to scalp it. And much of that is determined by how good a job was done on the grading before the sod was installed. And one of the things that is a common misconception by many is that the sod will somehow magically
level itself,
hide flaws of the grading. It will not. It just lies right on top of it. So if you took your time and really did the job that needed to be done on grading, it had a nice, smooth, even grade. You can cut that on down to 3/4 of an inch or an inch in height. It all depends on how smooth your surface is.
Now I think he's really willing to step up his game because he wants to know if it's a rotary or a real mower. Hey, if you can pull the real mower off, Greg, go for it, man. Absolutely.
For warm season grasses, real, and that's REEL for those who don't know what we're talking about. It is it's a double helix kind of a look to a scissor and bed knife. And the golf courses use them a lot because they will cut these greens, these spent grass greens that are literally down to 30 seconds of an inch. You know, like they'll be like 30 seconds in height. So they're very, very short. We don't have to cut it that short, but they do give you a much more precise control. And they also give you a degree of forgiveness with respect to if you don't have it graded exactly perfect, it will ride over.
His grade's always perfect. Thank you, Greg.
Yep.
All right. Hey, are we going to give these
show you what
prizes?
kind of a guy he was? I'd show you what kind of a guy he was, Josh. You know, when the big tsunami hit, what year was that?
The Christmas tsunami.
Anyway, he went there and spent like 2 weeks helping people. I mean, that's the kind of guy we're talking about here. So,
I think he had children born after this too.
Great spirit.
Awesome. Very good. Are we going to give the prizes away on the air?
Yeah. We got to do this.
Okay,
we need to draw our numbers.
Okay.
All right. Who's going first?
You do.
All right. Now we have several on the Facebook page for At Home Show and Josh Carey and
we
David
have
Bates.
4 entries on YouTube.
Okay.
We'll have to see who commented first. We'll look at timestamps to do that.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go first. I'm not looking. I'm not cheating.
No way to cheat.
Ooh, number 1.
Number 1. We had a number 1 on the Facebook.
Because I'm number 1.
All right. I'm going next just because I'm number 2, I guess. All right. Getting in there. Number 5.
Number 5.
in the middle.
5.
We had a 5.
Okay.
Tyler.
Number 8.
All right. 1, 5, and 8.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Big
If you were
winners.
the first one to guess any one of those numbers,
Well,
you're a winner.
the first comment on the Facebook page for At Home Show with Josh Carey and David Bates, Linda Guess Clater had number 5. So number 5 is the big winner.
For Linda?
Okay.
Get it,
Did you have a
Linda.
5 on there?
I had an 8, but
Okay.
I think Austin or Carrie had a 5, right?
I had the 5, yes.
Okay,
Linda's all me.
That
Good
was
job, Linda.
50 minutes ago. She actually commented that one.
Good job.
All righty.
On it.
Number 1 over here. Did you have a number 1?
Yes, I had number 1.
Okay. This comment came in 38 minutes ago.
That's the only one that I see.
So Pam Dukes Chowning wins one.
Yay, Pam.
Yay,
Good work, Pam.
Way to go.
Choosing number 1. That's bold.
And the number 8.
It's a great one.
We had. Did you had an 8 over there?
Mm-hmm.
Tyler.
Mine came in. Let's see here. Double checking. 23 minutes ago. That was the first number 8.
So we did get an 8.
We did get an 8 over
Okay.
here.
Who was it?
Let me find
Caroline.
it again. We're zooming and we're rolling and we're scrolling. Michael Joel Payne.
Michael.
Okay.
Right.
Yay, Michael.
Hey, congratulations.
Okay, so you'll have to come. It would preferred that you would come out here to Bates Nursery and Garden Center after 10
Yeah.
o'clock today, 10 to 4 today, right?
Well, as soon as Paula can make up
yeah.
the gift cards.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I need to tell her about this. She's gonna love me.
Yeah.
But we'll put it under your name.
Nobody.
Hey, if she's
planned for
watching
this.
right now, then that's gonna be her cue.
Yes,
Shout out,
Paula.
Paula. We love you.
Thanks for tuning in,
We do
Paula.
love you, Paula. So if you did win one, you can come up to checkout, tell them that you want a gift card, and they can go pick it up in the office. You don't have to come today. You can come anytime that's convenient for you.
Mm-hmm. But,
during business hours.
I was going to comment that
Tyler.
in the 25 years we've been doing the show, I had never been to Bates prior to 25 years ago, being a Rutherford County boy.
Yeah.
The nursery today is 25 years greater than it was in those days.
We certainly have made a lot of changes in the last 2.5 decades.
And it was always a great place to shop, and it was always a great place to go, but it is so much nicer than it was 25 years ago.
Well,
and that's how long I've been a customer. And I mean,
when you've had the good fortune of being in business as many years as we have, you have to continue to work at your facilities because things just age, self included. So if you don't continue to work on maintaining them and improving things, then it just shows up badly. Okay. So we've been fortunate to get to make a number of improvements and changes, and there's it's a target-rich environment. There's still plenty more to do. So,
I gotta say, y'all, this will be my 7th year working at Bates Nursery, and we work hard. We do a lot of work. It's a very physical job, but it is so rewarding. We get to work with people that we love, plant people that we just nerd out with all the time. And it's never stopping. Like David said, there's always something to do, and it doesn't seem like they're necessarily chores, though. It's just part of work. It's part of life, but we all like to see it get better, and we really enjoy working here. And I say this because we're getting into that kind of seasonal hiring time to where we need some more people out here. So if you really want to get out, work with your hands, work with some cool people, deal with plants, like come on out and see us. Like we want good people. We want happy faces. And it's an excellent place to work. I really love coming to work every day.
You've been working with Joy on the new benches. Is that right? Have you so tell us quickly a little bit about that. We've had these old metal benches in the greenhouse for ever.
Yeah. I mean, as long as I've been here, plus a long time. So an overview. We literally are demoing everything inside of our greenhouse where we keep mainly our annuals and our vegetables through the growing season. We are demoing, sawzalling, hammering, getting all this old metal out of here. All these old tabletops are gone. We are literally building, I don't even know, somewhere close to 300 new tables with new plastic tabletops. Everything will be flat. Everything will be easy to water. It's low enough to shop on it. Tons of new space, and it just looks clean. We got the whole crew on it. We got Bridget, we got Jane, Taylor, Joy. Everybody is on this, or a lot of people are on this, building new tables to have you a brand new experience to see in the spring. And you're already going to see a new experience in the spring. We've done so much over this winter, and this is just adding to it.
We literally raised the roof.
We raised it in there. We raise it every day, baby. But we really did this summertime. So
cool.
It is really cool. It's cool to look into to see. It's just a massive structure. I mean, it was a feat. So I'm proud of it. I know everyone else that had a hand on it is proud of it. So, but the tables will be done soon. I give it probably a couple weeks, and they'll be about done. And you can come in and shop. It's full of stuff. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, I got to get to Cecil's question on YouTube. Plum tree fertilizer applications per season, i.e. start to finish. So when from fruit or from bud to fruit.
Okay. In the early spring when it's actively growing is really what I always say. And it's mainly for a young plum tree. You don't necessarily have to do it as the plant starts to age. We have some pretty good soil here, actually, once a plant, once a tree especially kind of latches into our ground. So if it's old, it's not... You don't really have to do that too much, but whenever it's young, get it growing. Use some of the organics. We got tree tone, we got fruit and nut, type of fertilizers. There's a lot of different organics you can use for that, but it is never a bad practice to do that in the early spring when the tree's wanting to wake up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Great, and then we have some Google Forms questions too. If we can get to those really quickly. Let's see. What's the prognosis for Schip Laurels? Still wait and see. Are these laurels going to make it to spring?
We're cautiously optimistic. Yes.
Recommendations for a hardy replacement.
Ooh.
I don't think we need to replace them yet. I can certainly give you a hardy replacement. Like I said, I talked about yews earlier. They're a good little replacement for a kind of a sun or shade type environment they can live either. But don't think about replacing them yet. I don't think it's time. I just noticed around town, laurels are starting to actually want to drop those leaves a little bit. So we're going to start seeing those stems. And a lot of times if you see green on those stems, there's life in there. So still, wait it out, y'all. And it's like I said, it's still only January. We're just about to start February. So we've got time, and we're just going to have to wait and look at that ugly for a minute.
Yep.
Okay, what about, here's another question, Prague Viburnum and Horseman Dwarf Atlas Cedar. How about these?
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous about the blue Atlas cedar. I'm not going to lie to you. Mine looks bad. I got one in the yard. Caroline, you have one in the yard too. No,
I have a
You have a
deodar.
deodar, and it still looks pretty good, right?
My deodar is starting to flush back and turn a little bit blue again. So.
Okay, see, the blue Atlas
hope
though,
for that.
yeah, they're not. I've had one for 3 years now, and the needles are brown. They are certainly brown.
I've got two at my house, and they both got toasted.
I know, and
but I think they'll actually still come back out, even though they don't look wonderful right now. I think they'll be okay. There are Chamacypris I have and Cupressus that I have much more concerns about.
Me too. Yeah, we saw some damage from those a couple years back that wasn't even as severe as it was this year. And I don't think dead is the word, but I think we'll suffer some severe dieback with the Hinoki cypresses out there in specifically
Cypress,
and Leland.
They're going to get.
Man, I don't think we got to all the questions.
We didn't, but Instagram, Facebook platforms, we will answer those throughout the week. So if your question didn't get answered today, we will get to it.
We call it the no down.
Yeah,
we give you the no down.
Linda, Pam, and Michael, congratulations on your prizes.
Congrats. Come out and see us.
Hey, man, 25 years. How about that?
Way to go, Josh.
Way to go, David. Hey, thanks for Tyler and Carrie and Austin. And
there it is.
Thanks for being here. Hey, man, we're having.
Look at all that.
It's confetti storm.
Yes.
We got Barney kisses floating over the studio. Join us next Saturday morning, and we'll come back for another at-home program.
Nice.
See you then, folks.
Perfect, Caroline.
It was.